Welcome, UCL fans, to our first unofficial week preview for the United Championship League Season 2. I am Nintendo Fanatic 64, and I'm going to be here to take a look at all the team matchups that are going to place this weekend. If you do enjoy this video, please leave it a thumbs up, and let me know down in the comment section below who you think, or what match you're looking forward to most, I should say, going into this weekend. And don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy watching these. I'm going to be doing weekly videos for the UCL on Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesdays being my reviews of what happened during the week, and then Fridays will be the preview for the upcoming weekend. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the schedule is. I'm probably going to have this up for most of the video so you can see it. But we have, in week 1, we have the Sparetix versus the South Beach Slow Kings. South Beach Slow Kings have said that they are going to 6-0 the Sparetix this season, so we'll see if that actually happens in week 1. They definitely have drafted a better team, I believe, this time around, as you can see from my my draft review videos I did for all the teams. So it will definitely be an interesting matchup, to say the least. Slight edge will probably go to the Sparetix for it, just because of their battling experience for it. Even though he might not necessarily Wi-Fi battle as much, we know that coach of the Sparetix, Joey Pokian, does do a lot of showdown stuff, but David and the South Beach Slow Kings are not taking this lightly. They've definitely been training, going on showdown, practicing with different team moves and stuff like that for it. Next up, we can see the Tucson Terrakions versus the St. Louis Rampardos. In what was the last match of the season for these two last season, or at least during the regular season, they're coming back and picking right back where they left off last season for it. Tucson Terrakions, did really well last season. Didn't have, all the Pokemon they wanted to draft this season. They were sniped a lot of the times for it, and by the end were kind of, just burnt out and didn't really care what they ended up getting. St. Louis, I believe, got a lot of the mons that they did want to get for it. So, and we of course know that the coach of the St. Louis Rampardos, Dan, aka A-Drive, is definitely no slouch when it comes to competitive battles, especially on a draft league format such as the UCL. But the coach of the Tucson Terrakions, King Nappy, is definitely good at Wi-Fi battles himself, even though if he doesn't do them that often anymore. And you can feel that, if you saw his, recap of his draft, he's very excited and is going to be, nervous going into this. But I think it's going to be a great match. It was one of my favorite matches to watch last season, so I can't wait to see it again this season. Up next, as you can see, we have the Carolina Keldios versus the Pittsburgh Peaches. Last season, I believe it was the Carolina Keldios that defeated the Pittsburgh Peaches. And it just, Pittsburgh definitely wants to get back at them for this season. They felt that they should have won, but, the coach, Nub Nexus, felt he was one of the unluckiest teams, missing moves and just having really bad strings of luck for it. This will definitely be a good match. I can't wait to see how well these two teams actually do perform for it. It's going to be an exciting match, to say the least. Both drafted really well, I believe, even if some of their picks did get sniped in the end, but it should be a great match altogether, so can't wait to see that one. Up next, we have the Tulsa Talonflames versus the Real Maril. Now, these two teams met originally in the Little Cup off-season, and it was a very close match during both meetings in that Little Cup, with the Real Marils coming out on top both times they took on the Tulsa Talonflames. But it was definitely a really close match. This is, of course, the very first match for the Real Marils since joining the UCL. We have seen him in other competitive leagues such as the GBA. So he's good at doing battles. Tulsa Talonflames coach Cuddle of Death, had a really great draft and did really well, learned a lot from Season 1, so I think we'll do good and, should have drafted really well, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But this, again, most of these matchups are going to be very good, exciting matches. So, Cuddle of Death from the Tulsa Talonflames, Mega Mogwai from the Real Maril, like I said, they met before in the LC tournament. Now they're meeting again for Season 2, and this will really be a big, interesting battle. Up next, we have the Newcastle Kings versus the Manchester Magnazones in what's being called the Battle of the Brits, since, of course, both the coaches, Feint Attacks and Patters, are from the UK in there. should be really good. Of course, Manchester Magnazones had a much better draft this season versus season one, where they just could not really get up and get going. They ended up, 0-15. Newcastle Kings being, I think it was like third or fourth overall, like started with 2 losses and then went for the next 13 weeks, I think it was, or 12 weeks without losing a battle for it. So wants to try and keep that momentum going. Had the longest winning streak in season one. So let's see if they're going to start off strong this time, or if it's going to be a repeat of season one where they're going to lose in the first 2 weeks. Up next, we have the Philadelphia Alligators taking on the Durham Druddigons. Philadelphia Alligators, of course, a little bit down since they don't have their mixtape, which was Garboder from season one. They were really looking forward to getting it back. Of course, they did not. Coach P.K. Sparks, very sad about that, but is not going to let that sway him. He's going to still fight on, with the hashtag #FightGatorsFight. And their first week opponents are the Durham Druddigons. In season one, of course, they were very much known for being a very bulky team that was hard to get through. Didn't get as many bulky mons, but can definitely have a lot of hard-hitting mons to go with it. So it's definitely going to be a good one. Can the Gators move on without their mixtape and still find the will to win, or will the Durham Druddigons continue on? They fell out during season one, weren't able to finish. Let's see if they can come back in season two and maybe even get further than they did the last time. Up next, we have the Grand Canyon Greninjas versus the Long Island Reggie Rockies. Definitely will be an interesting one. Of course, we have the coach of the Grand Canyon Greninjas, Twit, and the coach of the Long Island Reggie Rockies, Nips. Will definitely be, they both had an interesting season. Nips was, had a very good start, I would say. Had a couple losses here and there. Was really close to making the playoffs if only certain situations were met, which on his end were met, but it was on the other end that was unable to actually continue on with it. So unfortunately, did not get to make it, but this could be the year for the Long Island Reggie Rockies. Had a really great start. Has been practicing with his team on his live streams I've seen in the past, so I'm sure he's going to do really well. Twit and the Grand Canyon Greninjas, he used season one as a learning point, and is actually going to go ahead and, take this opportunity and run with it this time. He's not going to, make the same mistakes he did in season one, so that should be a really good matchup for it. And with that, that brings us to the final matchup, which is going to be the Toronto Toca versus the Bristol City Blazekins. So the Toronto Toca coach the Heated Mo. Definitely should be an exciting match. It's always exciting when you get to see the Hacks God in action. And then we also have Game Boy Luke. Not really known for his Wi-Fi battling skills, but is still going to do well nonetheless. Did pretty decent didn't have the, greatest in season one, neither did the Toronto Toka, but, I think Bristol City Blazekins came out, ahead of the curve where they were, 8-7 or whatever it was. Toronto Toka were only about 4-11, so they didn't have the greatest matchups, but they should do good. They have, they're feeling a little bit better this time around. Everyone used season one as their, learning spot, trying to figure out how this whole competitive scene works, because majority of the teams that are on here are not, Wi-Fi battlers. A lot of these people are going to be more the, they're Let's Players and, stuff like that. So they don't actually do a lot of Wi-Fi battling. But they come together and have fun with this, so that's what this should all be about. So I encourage all of you to check out all the videos, let them know how much you enjoy it, win, lose, or whatever on it. They're here to help, they're here to have fun and here to entertain us, which is always entertaining as well. But thank you all very much who did watch through this. Let me know for next week if you want me to continue doing it like this, or if you want me to do individual team matchup videos, so how I went through all 8 matches that have taken place. Would you rather me do that, or would you rather me do 8 separate small videos, so that way you see the teams matchups that you want to, and I'll maybe even have their draft picks off to the side so you can actually see what the teams are and go into a little bit more detail with it. But For those that did enjoy this video, like I said, leave it a thumbs up and let me know down below, in addition to that, what matchup you are looking forward to this weekend. But thank you all very much for watching, and thank you for checking out this video. I will be back on Tuesday with the review and unofficial rankings for this week as well. So thank you all very much. Take care. Goodbye.